Okay. Which of the following statements represents the homogeneous expectations assumption that underlies the capital asset pricing model? Okay, to solve these questions, we first have to understand what the assumptions of CAPM are. So I wrote it down ahead. And the first assumption is that investors can trade all securities at market prices. And second assumption is there are no taxes or transaction costs. And third assumption is investors can borrow or lend at the risk-free interest rate. Fourth, investors can only hold efficient portfolios. An efficient portfolio means the portfolio that yields um, highest expected return for any level of volatility, sigma. And lastly, investors have homogeneous expectations regarding the volatilities, correlations, and the expected returns of the securities. Okay, and let's go over the answer choices. A says investors can only buy and sell at competitive market prices. Okay, just before we go over the answer choices, so as you can see, the question is asking the homogeneous expectation assumption that the CAPM holds, and you can find that on the last assumption, investors have homogeneous expectations regarding any securities because they have all the all investors have the same public information, so they will have similar expectations about including volatilities, correlation, and expected returns of securities. So they will have similar expectations. So this answer choice. So something saying about this homogeneous expectations regarding the volatilities, the correlations, and expected returns of the securities should be the answer. So A says investor can buy and sell at competitive market prices. This is true, but this is not something about the homogeneous expectation. So we can cross out A, and investors can borrow or lend at the risk interest rate. Okay, so this fits the third assumption. However, it is not true. I mean, it is not related to the homogeneous expectation. No taxes or transaction costs. This is also included in the assumption, but not about the homogeneous expectation, so we can process D. And D, we have that all investors have identical estimates for the volatilities, correlations, and expected returns of securities. And this should be the answer because it is stating that they have similar estimates for volatilities, correlation, and expected returns of securities. And lastly, investors only hold portfolio that yield maximum expected return for a given level of volatility. This is true, but it is not something about the expectation. So investors are they're expecting identical estimates, and we're saying, so the answer choice E is, is not really about homogeneous expectations. So I guess the answer is D.